Two people are heading to federal prison for fentanyl and cocaine trafficking. This happened in Bardstown, often recognized as the most beautiful small town in America.
Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia-Francescini talked with a mom who lost her son to fentanyl poisoning. She says these tragedies are becoming more common everywhere.
Angela Parkerson has spent the last 5 years raising awareness on how accessible and dangerous fentanyl has become in communities across Kentucky. She says every time she hears about law enforcement arresting another drug trafficker, it feels like she's losing her son all over again.
I wish with every ounce of my being that I could have said to him, Nick, you can't take any prescription pill that is not prescribed to you because it'll kill you.
That regret is something Angela Parkerson has to live with every day. Her son, Nick, died in Bardstown in 2021 when he took half a Percocet pill that ended up being poisoned with fentanyl. Officials say drug trafficking has become a huge issue in the Louisville area, particularly because cartels and dealers use major highways to move drugs. Just last week, 2 people in Bardstown, the same place where Nick died, were sentenced to federal prison for fentanyl and cocaine trafficking.
This is the first time I've actually really seen these types of busts, because those first few years, I wasn't seeing any of that.
Investigators say between August 2022 and June 2023, Neil Scott Stone and Keely Loxton distributed cocaine and more than 400 grams of fentanyl in the Bardstown area. Investigators believe Stone, while working as a truck driver, got the drugs from the U.S. Mexico border and then brought them into Kentucky. Stone had already been convicted 3 other times for drug trafficking.
It is necessary to hold drug traffickers and drug dealers accountable. If my son had done those things, I'd visit him in prison. I visit my son in an urn.
Parkerson says there's a sense of relief that comes with hearing of the sentences, all while she continues to educate and find answers as to what exactly led to Nick's death. Fernando Garcia-Francescini, Wave News.